Luke, you say that you're not sociable, and yet you do outreach. And to do outreach and apologetics, you have to talk to people. So how is it that you can handle that?
Yeah, sadly, this is completely true. I have always been kind of an unsociable person. I get, some anxiety in social situations, and it can be hard to talk to people. And for me, a lot of it has to do with, okay, what's the purpose of this conversation? Always overanalyzing and thinking, what are they thinking about me, and all this sort of stuff. And I think a lot of people in apologetics are kind of like that too. I don't know. Look, apologetics has all sorts of different people in it, and I shouldn't generalize, but a lot of us tend to be pretty analytical. We're very into the facts and interested in that sort of thing, and sometimes that comes at the expense of talking with other people and interacting with other people. So yeah, it is kind of weird, and yeah, I found myself sometimes thinking, hey, you know what? I'm actually having a good conversation with this person in real life. Isn't this weird? I would not expect this from me, of all people. And so I would just encourage, especially if you're someone who's kind of like that, we're all made a little bit different. We're all interested in different things. That's okay. It's not, totally, you're not some sort of complete outcast just because you like deep and interesting topics. And there are other people in the world who are willing to talk about those things. And part of it has to do with the small talk versus big talk thing. So a lot of people, there's a theory that a lot of people only like doing small talk. And small talk is good for reaching out to people who you don't have a lot in common with. But I think everyone has their interests. For some people, that'll be football or whatever, and to them, that's like a big talk issue. So I think it is important, though, for those of us who think of ourselves as antisocial, you can do it, you can get out there. If you run a booth or something, or if you're involved in talking about these things, you will be surprised, I think, at how much fun you'll have talking with other people who are interested in the same sorts of things. So yeah, I would encourage you to do it. It's maybe not as hard as you would think, and it doesn't always have to be face-to-face with people either. There's a lot of good things you can do online to advance the kingdom of God.
I've been very surprised to see you running a booth and able to interact with the other Christians socially, and then having an hour pleasant conversation with an unbeliever where they're listening to you and you're respectfully listening to them. And would you say perhaps that one benefit of volunteering at a booth is you don't need to be really good at small talk, whereas if it's somebody you're working with or a family member, maybe you need to do a little more small talk? Or how do you compare that?
Yeah. So on the long conversations at booths things, that's one of the things that surprised me, is that I was able to have good, very interesting, engaging, long conversations. People were glad to stay and talk. And kind of the advice that I would give, this has something to do with our goals. We're not always necessarily trying to win an argument or anything like that. A lot of times we're just trying to talk with someone, show them that Christians can be nice people, have a good conversation, listen to them. Oh, why do you think that? Give them some time to explain why they see the things the way they see. Then you'll get a chance to say, well, this is the way I see it. And you'll just be surprised how it can go from one thing to the next. If you have a lot of ideas in your head and you've thought about a lot of these things, it's just going to go from one thing to the next, and people will want to hear what you have to think. So yeah, absolutely. And then, sorry, what was the other part of the question? Was there something that I should follow up with there?
Oh, right. That was about which do you need more small talk for, or which do you need big talk? Like in a booth, you can go right into big talk if you're in a science booth or an ethnic booth. But sometimes you really do need to work on small talk if you're with family or friends or a social setting.
I would say anytime you're involved with an organization doing it doesn't have to be a booth. If you're talking to people on the street or whatever that looks like, you're there with a purpose, and people may want to engage with that. You can say, hey, this is what we're doing, and you don't have to be an expert conversationalist. So yeah, those sort of situations do help you get into these what we'd call big talk situations, where there's not a lot of small talk.
Well, Luke, we also have a video on small talk, big talk to help you kind of think through that and what you're good at and what you could work on. So we recommend you to watch that also. And thanks for that encouragement, because a lot of people out there are not confident in speaking to others, or shy, or not sociable. And hopefully they'll take you for an example and step a little out of their comfort zone.